based on transit. What do you think our officials should be doing in the city to build better transit, and where should the transit go, do you think?
Oh, the transit, my biggest frustration and now and has been for the past few years is how Toronto is building public transit. And I think transit is no longer being built on any consideration for scientific principles. And the focus is essentially to build transit to deliver or solidify political fortunes for existing political base. So it's basically someone wants to continue to be the councillor, so they argue, I need a subway for my residents. If someone is trying to be the mayor of the city for the next in the elections, they're promising subways, one-stop subways or stubways. So we are building transit where it's not needed. So extending the subway lines north of Steele in neighborhoods that are unlikely to attain higher mode splits or higher share of transit use. And we're not building public transit where it's desperately needed as a downtown relief line, which has been on the books for 40 years, but no one wants to build because there will be new riders, but not new voters. So these are the kind of things that are gridlocking the city. People do buy homes based on consideration for accessibility, not just transit. Transit plays some role in people's decisions, especially those who would like to commute by public transit. But if you look at the city of Toronto as a region, 22% of the people commute by public transit to work, but the remaining 78% still take the automobile. So their decisions, or I would say 80% of the people make their decisions not based on public transit alone. So what the lesson here is that yes, transit matters, especially to those who would like to commute by transit. And it would make sense to build transit where the demand exists today, rather to build transit in the hope that in the 20, 30 years down the road, people will discover it and start taking it.
That makes a lot of sense for sure. Is there anything else you think our listeners should know? Anything else you'd like to share today?
I think the listeners should know that the increase in housing prices is a much better prospect, is a much better problem to deal with than a decline in housing prices, both from personal financial well-being and also for the regional economic well-being. Housing prices, when they increase, they create personal wealth. 60 to 70% of those who live in this region are homeowners, so they see an increase in their welfare as housing prices increase. And so are the municipalities, because their municipal revenue that relies on property taxes and land transfer taxes, that continues to grow. And it is, at the same time, it is posing difficulties for first-time home buyers who may find it difficult to enter the market. But then at the same time, you look at the overall welfare, you have to look at what situation makes the city better. And I think a steady increase in housing prices is a better prospect than a decline in housing prices. And therefore, I think the listeners should know that the Toronto's housing market is in a better place now than it was in 1990s, early 90s, when housing prices were declining.
Awesome. That's great. That's great information to know. And lastly, I always ask all of my interviewees whether they rent or own and which part of the city they live in and why. So can you tell us a little bit about your situation?
Yes. So I own a house, and I live in Mississauga. And I live near public transit. I travel exclusively by public transit. I take the GO train, and I'm always taking public transit. So why I live here is because I've got young children, and they play hockey, and they play soccer, and we are out almost every evening in a hockey arena or in a soccer field. And as I said earlier, that I haven't seen many people carrying hockey bags in a subway or GO train. And it makes it difficult to do the same kind of active lifestyle with children in a downtown core, but it is very easy to do in suburban Mississauga.
Got it. That makes sense. How can our listeners reach you if they have any questions?
They can reach me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Regionomics, and they can also email me at Murtaza, Murtaza, @Regionomics.com.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been very interesting and very enlightening. Thanks so much, Murtaza. Thanks again for joining us for some Toronto real estate market insights. You can visit my website at morrisonsellsrealestate.com or visit morrisontalksrealestate.com for more episodes of the podcast. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Morrison Report. Hosted by Deval Morrison, sales representative for Bosley Real Estate Limited Brokerage, real estate investor and best-selling author, bringing you insights on the Toronto real estate market. Join us for another podcast.